So this is the self-development with tactics. Book. So, this episode is going to be again about some memes, and I think I'm also going to talk about some business ideas actually, just because I had a look at 2 of the memes that I'm going to go through afterwards, because I do just always want to check if there's something good or if it's just only bullshit, and I do not really want to go through bullshit. And I've seen like, yeah, maybe there is something that you can do with it, maybe there is an opportunity for a business idea. But yeah, there's going to be more after the intro, as always. As every day, because it is amazing. Because I enjoy it, because it is cool. And with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And today we're actually going to skip the whole description thing. Please check out the description. It is going to be something that's really, really important. It is indeed very important. If you just need some information on who I am, what I'm doing, on other things that I'm doing, or just also really important things, please check out the show notes and also the description. Something that I do still want to point out is that if you're on the YouTube video, there is the podcast version of this exact video as well. And if you're on the podcast, there's also the video version of it. So if you're willing to have the podcast, then please also go down into the description. But yeah, let's go through the memes. I hope there's actually some good ones. 33 of minor genius that deserve our respect. And it is like, I've been searching for some clever memes because I didn't really want to go through some dumb shit and shit that's not mattering at all and those things. But I still I feel, I don't know if they're going to be really clever or really smart or really whatever. I hope they are going to be. The first 2 things or the first 2 memes that I went through, they haven't really been that clever. But yeah. So the first one is, good romance starts with a good friendship. And there's a comment that says, a bad romance starts with ra 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 ra, Rama Rama ma Gaga oh la la, which is like Lady Gaga as far as I know, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is the case. Actually, a really interesting story. Today I've actually gone back my exam, my listening, reading, and writing exam in English, and I've done actually pretty well, and I'm really happy about that. It is actually also kind of surprising to me that I've been able to be so good. I really have been kind of really good. I could have been better, of course, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna take this, and I'm also taking this. I'm really happy with it. But the thing is, there has been an listening exercise, which has been an interview with Lady Gaga, and there's been like just one sentence and one word, a really important one. It was one answer to one question, and I think in the end it was stripes of balls or something, or balls of stripes of balls. Stripes with balls, something like that. I still don't know what it actually is, but it was pronounced so fucking bad that I didn't understand it, my neighbor didn't understand it, or my classmate didn't understand it. Then I don't know, like a bunch of people actually understood it, which is something that was kind of incredible to me, but it was just so fucking bad pronunciation. But still, I still wonder if it is kind of the real, or if it is a real interview with Lady Gaga, or if it is like just something they made up. But anyway, the second one. And I think it is actually a pretty good thing, and I do not know if there's something that's working like that up to this point. Like, what we can see is that there is a controller, and there's some chips, or some crisps actually. In German we say chips, but in English chips are the fries, kinda. Even though I've also heard like once the chips, that somebody said chips referring to these chips, or crisps actually, but I don't know. Like, it's always kind of confusing and complicated, sometimes at least. But yeah, I think there isn't something like a cleaning tool for controllers. I don't know, like I haven't looked it up, and I'm not also gonna look it up. But I don't know if there's like a really good solution for that, because of course, using fucking eating sticks to eat fucking crisps is, I think, not the most convenient thing, and not the most convenient way to eat your fucking crisps, of course. But, actually having those greasy things and smudgy bullshit in your fucking control is also not that good. So what should you be doing? I think that there's actually quite some room, if we are just assuming that there isn't something that is just going around that problem or solving that problem. But I guess there's quite some room to solve the problem. So surprise me. Maybe I'm able to come up with something, maybe some grip, maybe some, some gloves that you can use or whatever that might be. I think there is some space, there is some possibilities, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. And this is a good one. It really is one. Like, for all the podcast listeners, I'm gonna explain. So there's a kid, and the kid seems to be ill. It also looks quite ill, to be honest. And the kid is drinking out of a Coke can, but in reality, there is it's like a small little bottle. It is a brown bottle. It seems to be a glass bottle, and I think it is medicine, which is in this little bottle. And this little bottle is attached to the Pepsi can, and so the child actually thinks that it is drinking out of the Pepsi can. Yeah, and this might be also the reason why it actually drinks this medicine. Because, I don't know, maybe the medicine is really bad or whatnot, but I think it is actually a pretty cool trick, even though, like, you can clearly see that it is, like, not the case that this straw is inside of this Pepsi can, because it is actually drinking out of a straw that is in this little small bottle, and yeah, I think that's actually a pretty cool one. I really think it is. The fourth one. I'm assuming something. Llamas stay for free. I'm a friend with 25 letters of the alphabet, and I don't know why. Which is like, I don't know what they're actually called, but it is a sign that you are, you're having a bunch of, I guess they're actually magnetic, just magnets things, and they are letters, magnetic letters, and you're just able to put some, or I don't know, they're not magnetic. I don't know how they're just working. I think there's some sort of a grit, and also grip. And as I said, I don't know how they're working, but it still just kind of confuses me that llamas stay for free, or llamas stay for free. But yeah, by the way, I do actually think that, which might be a little bit naive, but I still don't know. Like, it is still something that I need to think about, still something that I need to kind of progress in thinking about. But if I'm thinking about, like, having a restaurant and having a club, and, like, especially those two things, if it is about a coffee shop, in terms of, like, a cafe where you can also eat something in terms of cake and all those things, like, I really believe that it is not that of a difficult thing to have a successful restaurant and or club and or coffee shop. And I think it is the case just because the only things you need is good food if you are in a restaurant, and maybe, like, it still depends on which type of restaurant you are, because you can also be like, well, I'm gonna be a quote-unquote luxurious one, then of course you need to really have good food, but it doesn't really have to be cheap then. Maybe it is then about having a good place to be at, which is something that I do also don't really think that it is necessary. If you're just thinking about a regular restaurant, you're gonna have some tables, a few seats, and then that's quite it. Of course, it is expensive if you're just trying to have a really big one, but if it's like just a room with 4 tables or something, then of course it could be quite expensive to then get that back, or you just are quite cheap and really have good food, so there's a lot of people that are going to come to your restaurant. So I don't really believe that it is such a difficult thing. Maybe this is gonna definitely be revolutionized by AI and robotics and robots that are working in those restaurants, which could be the case, which is actually at this point in time the case. I think in Japan there is like one restaurant with a roboter, or what is it called? It's not a cyborg. AI. It is basically, it is some form of AI, I would say, but I think it's not that of a difficult thing. At least I think it is the case. Of course, there's a lot of things that I'm not seeing. Of course, there's a lot of things that I am not thinking about. Maybe the people that you have to employ, which are not going to be there. Of course, you need a good cook, but get a good cook. Search for a good cook. It's not that of an easy thing, especially if you think about it as an entrepreneur. But of course, if you are a good cook, then you could be doing this alone as well. It's a lot of work, but you can just let you pay for this work. Well, could also be the case. No vacancy or vacancy. I don't know. I'm not interrupting anything personal, am I? Yeah, Niles, we just eloped. I'm your new mom. Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. Well, yes, something that I have to say is that you should be nice. Of course, this is a joke, but we never ever know if these people also know that it is a joke, which is something that you really, really, really should think about. Only because you know that something is the case, only because you know and you feel like that this was a joke, that this meant this, that this meant that, whatever it might be all about. Just because you know it doesn't really know that the other person, or doesn't really mean that the other person also knows that. So please be careful and try to communicate as clearly as you possibly can, which is basically something that I didn't do just before, because I thought about the straw that this kid was using to drink out of this little bottle, but I didn't say anything about the straw. So yeah, it is like, if you're just listening to it, then you wouldn't have been able to understand what I'm meaning or referring to. Maybe you could have been thinking about something, which is definitely going to be the case, I assume at least. But in the end, like, the straw is something that's quite important. Like, it is a form of transportation for the fluid. So there's a lot of ways that you could be doing this, with a straw, without a straw. It is important, and it is also about clear communication and just maybe even communicating the right way. So quote unquote right way. But I think communication, being able to communicate in a very clear way, in a very clean way, and also in a very, well, I don't know what to say good, because good is like, yeah, it is good, but what is good? Like, it is like a little bit of a strange thing. Still, I think being able to communicate in a great way is, I think, a really good thing to do, because we are always communicating. We are always having something to do with other people, whether it is about clients, whether it is about audience, whether it is about employer, employee, all those things. Like, we are always communicating with people. It is like insane. Free beer is our Wi-Fi password. It is a good one. It's really attention grabbing, where there's like a huge font, and a huge piece of letters. Well, not really, but there's free beer, which is like in, I don't know, really big size, and there's kind of small is our Wi-Fi password. I think it is a good one, even though the problem that I'm seeing there is that, of course, you could also be like selling, you're basically selling something, or kind of selling something. Let's actually think about a product. I'm not gonna name any product, because you're probably having something in mind, but if you're selling something and you're just advertising it as being something, and you're in the end not getting it as it being this particular thing that you thought it would be, then it is a little bit of a strange thing, and you don't really like it, and it is like also not that good for your reputation, the reputation of your restaurant or cafe or product as well, because they assumed something and they didn't get it. And if it is really that confusing that a lot of people are buying it and then are like, well, I didn't actually want to have that, but I wanted to have just this thing that they as well, quote unquote, advertised, it's not good. It's not good for your reputation. It's not going to be a good thing to do. And this is a donut, and the donut is on the straw, or is it like a burger? Because I don't know. It actually looks kind of not good. And the straw is inside of a coffee cup as well, or coffee cup that you're also able to close. And on that, I don't actually know what it is called. I really don't know. Well, let's just move on. She left me for a hybrid. I didn't hear. So it is a Cars meme, and one of the cars says, she left me for a hybrid. And then the other car says, I didn't even hear him coming. Well, yeah, because it is a silent thing. Most often, I, by the way, think that having a hybrid car might be one of the best solutions that you can have at this point in time. At this point in time where technologies might not be as far as they should be for being able to substitute your car with an electric car, I would say. Because, and also in terms of like being able to just drive with sustainable energy and all those things. Like, it is like always something in between. Like, a lot of people say like, yeah, use green energy, use electric cars, they are good for the environment. And then there's of course going to be a lot of people that are saying like, well, actually not, because what about the materials? What about the electricity or the electrical current that you're using for powering your car? Where is this coming from? I've actually been eating some nuts before, and I don't know if this is only the case for me, but always when I'm eating some nuts, my mouth is so fucking watery, and I don't know why. I really don't know. Like, there's a lot of, maybe it's because there's such a lot of shit in my fucking mouth, just because, like, I don't know if you know that, but if I'm eating some nuts, then it's quite everywhere in my mouth. It might be because of that. But coming back to the original thought, I really think that a hybrid is maybe the best thing to just take at this point in time, because it is green, but it is also just you're able to get where you want to get. Like, yeah, I assume. I don't know. I just assume. Start every phone call with, my battery's almost dead. That way you can hang up on them when you're bored. I don't like that because it's a fucking douchebaggy thing. Like, don't do that. It might actually be a pretty just cool trick, and it might be working. It definitely is gonna work. But the thing is, what if they call you back? What are you then gonna do? Just put your phone on fucking flight mode or something? Well, I don't know. Like it is a strange thing. I wouldn't suggest it because it is also like a lie. And I don't like to lie. And I think it is not a really practical thing to do. I really don't also think that it is a smart thing to do. Because, I don't know, especially also lying to yourself. It's not a good thing. You shouldn't be doing this. Because, like, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why we are, for example, having negative feelings. Because they are showing us some things. And there's also like, yeah, just don't lie. It doesn't make any sense. Be honest to yourself. Because when you're honest to yourself, you are also able to progress. If you're always lying to yourself, and if you're always being like, well, it is not my fault, and yeah, I know that I'm good at everything, you're not gonna progress because you don't see that you're not good at everything. Quite. For example, it's just an example of this thing. The 10th one. Pillsbury Doughboy diet service will be held at the 350 for about 20 minutes. What the fuck? I don't know. No, I'm also gonna skip this one. Store tip: accidentally buy the potato chips your spouse doesn't like so you don't have to share. It is like literally in a fucking store. Accidentally buy the potato chips your spouse doesn't like so you don't have to share. It indeed is also a pretty good trick, but accidentally, it is also, again, about like, it's not nice. Buy 2 of them, and if you're not having the money, buy none of them. Especially just also because they're bullshit and you shouldn't be eating them anyway. Like, don't do this. Think about your health. Think long-term rather than short-term. I've also seen this one again, or before. It is like you're plugging in your... I still don't know what it is called. Fuck, man. Like, the thing that you're putting into your... I'm gonna skip that one. And there's like diapers, and there's money, and a car key, and a credit card in it. Well, I don't know if this is a good idea. I've got another confection to bake. I don't get it. The best wedding invite ever. P.S. If you don't reply by October the 1st, please bring a chair and a sandwich. Well, actually a pretty good idea. And this is going to be the last one because there's quite a bunch of ones that I do actually have to kind of explain then, that is not that of a nice thing if I'm having to explain it. But anyway, I was applying for Australian citizenship and the interviewer asked, "Do you have a criminal record?" And I said, "No." "Is it still required?" The next one. "Dad, I have something important to tell you." And and then he's just like he did a man with a cylinder and 2 shoes out of ears with emojis in text, and the replies, "Huh? What's that?" And he says, "I'm all ears." And the kid now says, "Never mind." And it's not funny. And then there's also a bunch of other things that I do not really get. It's a tattoo, and it is about like there was an injury. It is like a scar. Well, Simon Holland. You can't eat snacks while you sleep, so taking a nap is basically a diet. Like there's the problem that I'm often having is like that. I think there's actually quite a bunch of them. Well, never mind. It's still going to be kind of the end. I'm going to talk about something else right now. The thing is, like often it is the case that I either don't find them funny or they are just not funny. I don't always know. And I actually do not really know because it is a 50-50 chance that it is either of these things. But I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I think this is going to be the end of the episode. The next episode that I'm going to record is actually going to be slightly different. And it is hopefully going to be slightly better as well. But yeah, I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you are gonna remind yourself on how you're gonna be remembered, which means just being a good person and then also being remembered as a good person, and also vice versa. If you're just deciding to be a fucking bad person, then of course you're also probably gonna be remembered as a fucking bad person. 3 other questions that I'm having for you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time, so please consider subscribing to the podcast and or the YouTube channel, because I would appreciate that. Yeah, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So I'll see you soon.